How is it going, everyone? The PlayStation Store's Black Friday sale is officially live right now, and I am going to be covering it. Now, I do have the sale filtered via full games, game bundles, and premium editions, so we can eliminate, DLC content and superfluous stuff like that. I will say, as I am recording this video, the PlayStation Store is a little bit janky, so there might be more deals that roll in, there might be some more ongoings and whatnot, but for the most part, the deals are live. I will also say the PlayStation Plus offer is live right now for people that are not subscribed to PS Plus. You can get PlayStation Plus Essential 15% off, you can get PlayStation Plus Extra 25% off, and you can get PlayStation Plus Premium 33% off. Yes, they are very much trying to get you into the highest tier of PlayStation Plus, at the very least one tier higher to get you into Plus Extra, which, just be mindful of the fact that if you do sign up for Plus Extra Premium, ultimately a year is gonna go by, the service will re-up, and, at a full price point, Plus Extra and Premium are quite expensive, so, they're playing the long game with this, and just remember that time is a finite issue as well. How many of those Plus Extra and Premium games are you gonna play over the course of your subscription? Just food for thought, some things to think about. With that being said, a lot of great deals available as a part of the Black Friday sale, so let's get right into it. You've got a lot of sports games that are on sale. I'm not going to spend too much time on that. If you're a sports game fiend, you already know that you want those games. Go buy them. More power to you. Death Stranding 2 on the Beach is 29% off for $49.69. Guys, this is one of my favorite games of the year. I am putting it alongside Expedition 33 for my top game of the year. I think this game is absolutely outstanding. However, I would highly recommend you to play Death Stranding 1 before you play Death Stranding 2. The games are very much narratively connected, and, it would behoove you to play Death Stranding 1. Death Stranding 1 is a great game as well, but Death Stranding 2 really improves upon Death Stranding 1, adding a lot more emphasis on the combat, and I feel like the story is a lot more cohesive in the game. It's just a fantastic, fantastic game. Highly recommended at $49.69. Assassin's Creed Shadows is 40% off for $42, and I will mention this when it's relevant, but AC Shadows is one of those games that does have the digital tax on it. Best Buy has got Assassin's Creed Shadows for $35, so if you are okay with the physical copy, check out AC Shadows at Best Buy for $35. As far as the game itself goes, I know that there was a lot of criticism that was thrown at the game, and I would agree with a lot of it. I think the narrative is garbage. I think the characters are so unlikable. But I will say, as far as Ubisoft open world games go, if you just want a fun open world to explore that's gorgeous in terms of visuals, AC Shadows will still offer you that. Like, it's a fun game to play when you kind of mentally check out, listen to a podcast, or listen to music or something while playing the game. But yeah, $42 on that. Battlefield 6, $59.49. You will need a PlayStation Plus subscription to play that game, so keep that in mind. But yeah, BF6 is $59.49. Game has been incredibly well received, but be mindful about the fact that they are going to be running a free trial for the game next week. You'll be able to play the multiplayer of the game for free for like a week, so yeah, you might want to jump on it and play it then. So $59.49 on that. Battlefield 6's Phantom Edition is 15% off for $85 as well. Expedition 33 is 20% off for $39.99. I mean, the game is absolutely phenomenal. It's one of the best games of the year. In my opinion, it is the game of the year alongside Death Stranding 2, but I hope Expedition 33 wins game of the year. I've explained my rationale on that. The game is tremendous. I highly recommend it. Is it absolutely perfect? No, there are some issues with the game, absolutely. I feel like there are, most games are not absolutely perfect, even if they're beloved and game of the year caliber, but Expedition 33 is so compelling from a narrative standpoint. The turn-based gameplay is great. The depth of the gameplay is awesome. The soundtrack is phenomenal. The visuals are great. There's just so much to like about the game, and I would highly, highly recommend it, and $39.99 is a great price on that. Borderlands 4 is 20% off. Again, I've said so many times, smart money play on that is to wait a couple years for the Super Duper Ultra Edition to be on sale, and then you get all the content. You're gonna pay a fraction of the price, and honestly, it might be a case of, it'll be when the PlayStation 6 is out. They'll re-release the game on the PlayStation 6 with all the content. Are you telling me you can't see that happening? I can totally see that happening, but yeah, $104 for the Super Deluxe Edition is still a little bit too pricey for my liking. Ready or Not, $40 on that, 20% off. That just came out. Astrobot finally at at a new low price, $39.59 on that. I mean, this was the game of the year of 2024. Even though I would have gone with Metaphor, Astrobot was a phenomenal platformer in its own right and very much worth a playthrough. Not a super lengthy game, but sometimes that's exactly what you need, and this is a game that's going to be incredibly replayable. If you're into platformers, it's one of those games that you're going to go back to for a very long time, and you can play through it again, and hopefully they do eventually do a sequel. I mean, I'm sure they'll eventually do a sequel. I'm still throwing out my idea, Astrobot versus Sackboy as a big title. I think that's a license to print money, but nonetheless, $39.59 on that is great, and they've been dropping free updates on that game as well, so that's great to see on top of that. Red Dead Redemption 1, new low price on this, 50% off for $25, and it will be upgraded to PlayStation 5 on PlayStation 5 here shortly, so now would not be a bad time to pick up RDR1. RDR1 is still a phenomenal game. I don't think it's as good as RDR2, but that's just what happens when, you know, RDR2 had 8 years after RDR1, it came out 8 years after. It's just so much better from a visual and scope standpoint, but Red Dead 1 is still phenomenal, and I highly recommend it. You get Undead Nightmare here as well. Great pickup there. And then Red Dead 2 is on sale. $15 on this, which I would say is a great deal for Red Dead Redemption 2. $15 is just a great price point for what I think is one of the greatest video games of all time. Really, Red Dead 2 is in my pantheon of the greatest games ever released, alongside like Metal Gear Solid 3, Resident Evil 4, The Witcher 3. Red Dead 2 is among the absolute elite. The only thing is, it's $15. Who knows what's going on with the upgrade at this stage of the game, 7 years after the release of the original Red Dead 2. If you've already waited this long, is it going to kill you to wait a little bit longer for the upgrade to eventually come out? And I don't know how that upgrade is going to be handled. We know it's going to be coming at some point, but yeah, I just cannot wait for it. And I want to play through Red Dead 2 again, and I played through it on PC at 60 frames per second, maxed out, but I'd like to play through it on consoles again, and I just am waiting on that upgrade. I don't want to play it at 30 frames per second, like that's not gonna happen, but nonetheless, $15 on Red Dead 2. It's a phenomenal game, one of the greatest games of all time. Highly recommend it there. Dying Like the Beast is $48, 20% off. That just came out, but a nice little discount on that. I probably would wait for that to be a little bit cheaper. Like, I think $30 would be the sweet spot for Dying Like the Beast, but it's a worthwhile game to go through, and it's got a good bit of content there as well. So $48 on that. Stellar Blade, new low price on that. We're taking down the Gooners. They're not going to keep this at $50 forever, but it is down to $39.89, so happy to see that get a little bit cheaper, if nothing else. The complete edition, unfortunately, is not on sale right now. I'm sure it'll go on sale in the near future in one of the other upcoming million sales that'll be running, but yeah, Stellar Blade for $39.89, great price on that. I did hear about the sequel progressing in development, and they're hiring for that. Hopefully that'll be out in a couple of years, but Stellar Blade was just such a breakout title. What a fantastic game that was, and $39.89 is a great price point on that. The performances is great, the visuals are great, the soundtrack is awesome. Can't say enough good things about that. That's a great game. Gears of War Reloaded is 35% off for $26. I think that's a great price. I get it that the multiplayer kind of went to the wayside very quickly, but I think the Gears campaign is still very much worthwhile to go through, and I had a really fun time going through it. Now, at the end of the day, the Gears campaign is like 7-8 hours long. It's not going to be this lengthy undertaking, so $26 for a 7 to 8 hour campaign, if you're not going to dabble into the multiplayer, is that worth it? You know, for a lot of people, that's not, but I think this is a pretty good discount given that Gears Reloaded just came out back at the end of August, so I would definitely recommend it, but again, assess whether or not the campaign means that much to you, and if you are gonna play the multiplayer. Forza Horizon 5 is 35% off for $39. Unfortunately, this is one of the games that the PlayStation guys are still paying the hefty price point on. The premium edition is $65 with all of the additional content. That's really the version of the game that I would pick up. And Forza Horizon 6 is coming out next year. Unfortunately, it'll be a delayed release on PlayStation 5, which is a bummer. But, you know, it is what it is. I'm super excited for Forza Horizon 6, one of my most anticipated games of 2026. And, truth be told, I'm more excited for Forza Horizon 6 than I am GTA 6. But, you know, I'm very much in the minority on that. The Forza Horizon games are just up my alley. They are fun games to go through. And if you have a long day at work or you just want a game that's super relaxing, I feel like Forza Horizon always fits that criteria. And for $39, the game's great, but I would recommend the premium edition. Even at $65, it's got so much content and so much replayability that I would say it's well worth it. Next up, we do have Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. It is 30% off for $49. This is actually one of those games that, based on the physical price points that I've seen thus far, it is not cheaper physically than it is digitally. The physical price, it's about $49.99 everywhere that I'm seeing, at least as of the recording of this video. Maybe it'll hit $40 at some spot, but Delta Snake Eater is an awesome game. Like I said, alongside Red Dead 2, Metal Gear Solid 3 is in the pantheon of the greatest games of all time, and I thought Delta Snake Eater did a great job of remaking it while staying true to the original. You know, if you're a little bit upset with the remakes like Final Fantasy VII, Delta Snake Eater is very much more so a true one-to-one remake. It certainly has some quality of life improvements, but the game itself is outstanding, and Snake Eater is one of the goated video game tracks in history. Like the latter section in this game is still embedded rent-free in my memory, but nonetheless, $49 on that. Great pickup there. It's a fairly short game, but it's one of those games that, yes, it's fairly short, but I'll go back to it and I'll play through it over and over again. Actually, I've been meaning to do another playthrough of it before this year's out, so I'll probably jump on that, and it's a game you can complete in 15 to 20 hours, but it's a great time the whole way through. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, 40% off for $42. You do have the digital tax on here. Amazon had this for $29.99. Best Buy and GameStop, I believe, will have this at $29.99 as well, so if you can get a physical copy of it, that's the right play to make. Alternatively, if you have to pick it up digitally, it's still a great pickup given how much content you're getting for your dollar. It's a game that's not going to be for everyone, but I think the people that do play it and enjoy it will really enjoy it and get really invested into it. It's just one of those games you can really sink your teeth into and have a great time with in terms of how much options it offers the player and how to tackle each individual section of the game and how to go through the game. I just think it's really well done in that regard. Narratively, it's quite good, but again, the combat is going to push some people away, but I still think overall it's a really solid game. Silent Hill F is 30% off for $49. I did not enjoy Silent Hill F, but that is one man's opinion. A lot of other people really dug the game. I thought the combat was atrocious, but again, that is just my opinion, and if you are super into horror games, maybe you'll enjoy it more than me, and I did like the game from an ambiance and a setting standpoint, but man, that combat was just something I could not get over, and maybe it's more of a me problem. Nonetheless, $49 on that. Black Ops 6 is $35. Spider-Man 2, $29.39 on that. Spider-Man Miles Morales is 57% off for $30.09. That's the Ultimate Edition, and that's actually one where the digital copy very much is less than the physical copy of the game. The physical copy is $40. Here you have this for $30, which is quite good. This does include Spider-Man Remastered, which is quite great, but yeah, $30.09 on that. Hogwarts Legacy is another game where you're lapping up the physical deals. Hogwarts Legacy, Target is legit promoting this game being on sale for $29.99. It's on sale digitally here for $10.49. Like I said, when you get to the under $15 threshold, under $10 threshold, there's a lot of value in the digital pickups, and Hogwarts Legacy definitely shows that. Game is great. It is available on Plus Extra, but it's a solid open world action RPG. I have no care in the world for Harry Potter, but I had a great time with the game, and I would definitely recommend it. Digimon Story Time Stranger is 10% off for $63. Yikes at the digital tax on this one as well. It is $50 over on Amazon and Best Buy, and that's the price point that I would recommend you to pick the game up for. As I'm recording this video, it is still available for $49.99 over on Amazon, so certainly would recommend that. If you have to pick it up digitally, I mean, the game is great, but yeah, definitely, that's one of the more egregious, hiked up prices as far as digital price points is concerned. The Ultimate Edition is 10% off for $108, but Amazon did have the Ultimate Edition. I don't know if they've still got it in stock. They don't have it in stock anymore, but they have the Ultimate Edition down to $90, but take that for what you will. $108 for the Ultimate Edition there. Split Fiction, 20% off for $39.99. That game is just holding up in price. It's a great game. If you want a co-op title and a great co-op title at that, Split Fiction is an awesome pickup. It's just, you know, a little bit at a heftier price point. Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered is 33% off for $33.49. you know, solid open world game. I mean, it's a remake of one of the most iconic games of all time, and it's worth a playthrough. It's just, you know, there are definitely issues with the game, but $33.49 on that. Outer Worlds 2, 20% off for $56. I'm working my way through this game right now. I am not as crazy about this game as a lot of other people. Honestly, I don't find the story that interesting. I don't find the characters that interesting, at least at this stage of the game. I'm still fairly early on in the game, and I started the game, and then I kind of put it on the shelf for a little bit, and now I'm going back to the game and playing through it again. And I'm enjoying it, don't get me wrong. I'm definitely not enjoying it as much as a lot of other people, putting it at the level of Fallout New Vegas. I don't think of it that highly, but I'm still not done with the game. Would I pay $56 for it? Probably not. I would probably wait for a deeper discount, but nonetheless, if you want to check it out, more power to you. A Rematch is 25% off for $22.49. Really, like a breakout title there. Honestly, I did not expect Rematch to be received as well as it was, especially, you know, how many people checked it out and whatnot. But credit to Slow Clap, they're delivering a lot of quality titles. So, again, credit to them. GTA 5 Premium Edition, that's on PS4, $14.99 on that. PlayStation 5 version is available for $19.99. Monster Hunter Wilds, the Deluxe Edition, and the Premium Deluxe are on sale, $63 and $77 respectively. Yeah, no moss on that. Absolutely do not pick those up. Doom the Dark Ages, the Premium Edition, is $50. The Standard Edition is unfortunately not on sale. It's still $70, so yeah, I definitely would not be picking that up at $50. I mean, you get the DLC, and I really like Doom the Dark Ages, but I just think $50 is a little bit too pricey. Ninja Gaiden 4, on the other hand, 20% off for $56. Look, that game just came out, and I'm gonna glaze that game as much as I can. The Deluxe Edition, by the way, also 20% off for $72, and that will get you the DLC that's coming out early next year. Ninja Gaiden 4 is phenomenal. As far as an action game goes, I think it's exactly everything people want out of an action game. Visceral gameplay makes you feel like a badass, great soundtrack. The game's not super lengthy, you know, you can complete it in 15 or so hours, but there's replayability with the Master Ninja mode. It is legitimately one of my favorite games of the year, and I know it's not getting nominated for Game of the Year or anything like that, and, you know, some of the reviews docked points on it for story. Look, who is going into a Ninja Gaiden game for a quality narrative? Like, if you are, I guess, like, the narrative isn't gonna be this blow-away story or anything like that, but I think from a gameplay standpoint, the game absolutely shines, which is where a Ninja Gaiden game should shine. And I think the narrative is fine. Like, it's not gonna be blowing you away. It's not Last of Us Part 1 or anything like that, but it's totally serviceable. And for $56, again, it's a recent release. I would highly recommend it. I think the game is tremendous, and I would definitely pick it up if you are remotely into action games. Speaking of Last of Us Part 1, that is on sale for $29.39. Absolutely goated game. I mean, I've talked about Last of Us Part 1 ad nauseum. It's one of the greatest video games of all time. I would put it in the pantheon of the greatest games as well. But, you know, I know that's a very casual take. A lot of my opinions on games are super casual. I'm not really gonna buck the trend as far as, oh my god, Last of Us Part 1's overrated. No, I don't think it's overrated. I think the game is amazing, and it's a game that I've completed like a billion times. So, highly recommend that, even if it is $30 for a game that came out initially 12 years ago. Hell Is Us is 30% off for $42. If you're a Plus subscriber, you do save an additional 5%, so it would be, I believe, $39 if my math is correct. That's pretty decent. Not a game for everyone, but something you can check out, and if you want a game that really leaves you to your own devices, I think a lot of you will have fun with Hell Is Us, but again, a bit of an acquired taste there. Lost Soul Aside is 34% off for $39.59. You know, I didn't hate that game as much as a lot of other people, but I certainly would not recommend it at $40. Even with the free update that just dropped, I would wait for a deeper discount. First Berserker Kazan, 30% off for $42. I like that game. Again, it's just one I wouldn't spend $42 on, but I love the art style of the game. The soundtrack to that was really good as well. If you like Souls-like games, you'll have a good time with it, and it also does have an easy difficulty, which, you know, for me, right up my alley, because I'm old and washed up when it comes to these Souls-like games. But yeah, love that about the game, and definitely I think it's a good pickup, but I wish it was a little bit cheaper, but it just came out earlier this year. What are you gonna do? Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4, the remake, that came out earlier in July. It's actually a relatively recent release, and it's 40% off for $29.99, so sizable discount on that. I love Pro Skater. I think the games are great, so $30 on that is pretty good. Little Nightmares 3, 20% off for $32. Mortal Kombat 1 is $9.99. Cyberpunk 2077, the Ultimate Edition, 40% off for $42. $10.59. You get Phantom Liberty and the base game there. That is a great pickup. Definitely would recommend that. I think Cyberpunk 2077 is outstanding. I even thought when the game initially came out that it wasn't that terrible, but yeah, $42.59 on that is really good, and Phantom Liberty is outstanding. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is 50% off for $34.99. That is one of those games that physical spots do have it down at $29.99, but still a really solid pickup, all things considered. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is 43% off for $39.89. Again, physical copy of that is $29.99, but I really dug Sparking Zero. I know people have their issues with the game, but as far as what I wanted out of the game, it being a game that if my buddies are over, we can all gather around and have a good time with, play as a wide cast of Dragon Ball characters. Yeah, it offers you all of that. Soundtrack is great. Single player campaign has a lot of content to it, and I overall really enjoyed the game. $39.89, again, I think that's a pretty good pickup. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is 30% off for $49. I think that's a pretty decent deal, all things considered. Like, I really like that game. Had a delayed release on PlayStation 5. Wish it was a little bit cheaper, but I do think it's a really, really solid title. And a little bit lengthier than I think some would expect. Given the other titles Machine Games has done with Wolfenstein and Wolfenstein 2, Indiana Jones, if you do like all the content in the game, it's legit like 30 hours long. So yeah, quite a lot of content there, and the visuals are stunning. I think that's graphically one of the best games you can pick up. Star Wars Battlefront 2 is $4.99. It Takes Two is $9.99. Silent Hill 2, $35. Star Wars Jedi Survivor, the PlayStation 5 copy of this game is $10.49. And the cross-gen bundle is $16, which includes Jedi Survivor on PS4 and PS5 and Jedi Fallen Order PS4, PS5 on that. That deal is insane. Jedi Survivor standalone for $10.49 is insane. Highly recommended. Jedi Survivor, if it wasn't like just a disaster from a technical standpoint when it came out, probably would have been my 2023 game of the year. I just wasn't that crazy about Baldur's Gate 3 and Alan Wake 2 like that. But I love Jedi Survivor. I thought the game was fantastic. And for $10.49, I think that's a great pickup. Highly would recommend that. Palworld, $22.49 on that. I mean, I would definitely pick that up before 1.0 comes out in 2026. And $22.49 is kind of the lowest price it's going to get to. And yeah, I think the game is pretty solid. It's not anything to really write home about, but yeah, given everything the game has go through, do pocket Parasol and pick the game up. It's a lot of fun, and it's one of those games that I feel like, you know, as far as the multiplayer titles go, it's quite an enjoyable time if you don't take it too seriously. Space Marine 2 is $35, which I would say that is a pretty decent pickup. $35 for Space Marine 2. What else we got? UFC 5, $14. Mind's Eye, baby, $30 on that. Star Wars Outlaws is $21, which I think is pretty good. Sekiro is $30. That just holds up in perpetuity. Crew Motorfest Cross-Gen Bundle is $14. Which, you know, that's an okay deal. Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Complete Edition, $9.99 on that. Lies of P is $29.99, another game that's been holding up on price. High on Life is 50% off for $19.99. Bleach Rebirth of Souls is $36. That's another one that the physical counterpart, it's $19.99 for a physical copy of the game. That digital tax is crazy. You're literally paying almost 2x. Insanity as far as that's concerned. Final Fantasy 16 is $25. Love that game. Think it's outstanding. I know, you know, very much a lot of people are not crazy about it, at least as high on it as I am, but I really enjoyed Final Fantasy 16. Doesn't have the depth and the nuance as some of the other Final Fantasy games, no, but is it a lot of fun? Is it an absolute spectacle? Oh, it absolutely is. Senua Saga Hellblade 2 is $35. Skyrim is $9.99. Mafia Trilogy is $11.99. Batman the Arkham Collection is $5.99. Pretty good deal there. Ninja Gaiden 2 Black still holding up in price there, $29.99 on that. Assassin's Creed Valhalla is $11.99. Valhalla Complete Edition is $28. Metaphor Refantasio is $35. Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition, $16 on that. Horizon Forbidden West, kind of interesting, where the physical copy, usually PlayStation does a pretty good job whenever they are running their own sales and whatnot, that there's parity between the physical and digital price points. The digital copy here is $40, and the physical copy is $29.99 on their official store. It's $29.99 PlayStation Direct, so that's a little bit of a bummer, but Forbidden West is great. It's just $30 would have been ideal for that. Assassin's Creed Mirage, they are putting a heavy discount on this, 70% off for $14.99. Bear in mind that the big update just came out, 6 hours of additional gameplay and a new section. It's totally free, so good time to pick that up as well. Resident Evil Village Gold Edition is $15, good pickup there. Borderlands 3 is $6. If you want that Borderlands gameplay but at a cheaper price point, that's not a bad pickup. So check that out. Yeah, the Kingdom Hearts game's on sale. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot is $15. The Master Edition with the Diamond DLC and the other DLC is $65, so a little bit pricey there, but it is what it is. Dead Space, the remake, $10.49 on that is fantastic. Dead Island 2 is $12.49. Rise of the Ronin, $29.39 on that. Final Fantasy X and X-2 HD Remaster, $9.99 on that. Dark Souls 2 is $19.99 as well. Final Fantasy VII Remake, Intergrade, $15.19. Dying Light Definitive Edition is $9.99. And you know what? This video is running kind of long as it is, but I do see Mass Effect Legendary Edition at $5.99. That's always a phenomenal pickup that I gotta give a shout to, so that's a great deal. Final Fantasy 15 Royal Edition is $14. Yeah, I usually just keep going as I see more deals. Metro Saga Bundle, $8.99. That's a great deal. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth is $21, another game with a bit of a digital tax, $15 physically. But I digress. Kingdom Come Deliverance as well, $7.99 on that. Man, there's just good deals every page you go. But a lot of good stuff discounted as a part of this sale. Definitely some worthwhile stuff to check out. We will be covering the sale more in depth in future videos, so stay on lock all weekend, and we'll have stuff for you guys going up. But yeah, this was a quick overview. Gigantic sale here. That's going to do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. If you're picking anything up, if you're picking anything up digitally, physically, let us know in the comments section down below. Sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.